Hey, what's up? Headripper here. I'm gonna go over our Ragnaros 10-man heroic strategy and how we kill it. After we kill Domo, I'm gonna hearth out and put on my rag prog set. I'm gonna redo my talents to more defensive, and then I'm gonna go and reforge my gear. So my gear that I'm wearing is a little bit of a variation on my DPS set. And the difference would be I'm trying to get more mastery, and to sacrifice and get more mastery, I take away my expertise. So my rag set ends up with 8% hit, 1660 haste, and 10% on expertise with 105% on my blood shield. And I swap out a DPS trinket for Mirror of Broken Images. I pretty much keep it on cooldown as well because the resist is just really good in this fight. All right, so for phase one, we're baiting the traps out. So we got our hunter and elemental on the left, and our healer on the right, and our DPS on the left close. And this is where they're going to stand. Phase two starts at 70%. He's going to smash his hammer down and spawn 8 Sons of Flame. And we have assignments for who's going to be on the left and who's going to be on the right. Once the flames are dead, then we're going to stack on the left and group up for seeds. We're going to move right. We're going to stack. And then once the seeds pop, we're going to go to our assigned positions, because every seed fixates on somebody. And if the seeds are within like 5 or 7 yards of each other, they get a stacking buff, and every buff does more damage. So the more seeds on top of each other, the more buffs they get and the more damage they do to people. So just for progression and to mitigate that, we spread out. I'll go over our phase 3 and 4 assignments once we get there. All right, I'm gonna go horn for our guys on the left, and I'm gonna go ahead and get in position on the right.
Ice patch would have been a little
It's
bit better.
pretty much the same
Like it put it
pre-pull
right as on
as
the
we've
edge of the
always
fire.
done. Negatives. I'm gonna stand over here on this spike, and this is gonna be my home for the next couple phases. So 7 seconds, I'm gonna army. I'm a horn, and then I'm gonna use my golem potion, and I'm gonna taunt with 1 second left so that nobody accidentally gets hit and gets smashed. All right, I'm gonna Death Strike, Heart Strike, and then pop my DRW and Outbreak, and then I'm gonna pop my AMS and just Death Strike, and then ERW and Death Strike, Rune Strike, Death Strike, Rune Strike. You know the deal. And once that's over and my DRW's over, I'm gonna try to snapshot my ghoul with my other trinkets and buffs and pots and stuff like that, so that he can do the max damage that he does. And then as soon as my AMS runs off, I'm gonna hit my Mirror of Broken Images and just start that rotation of trying to keep them active at all times. But 30 seconds into the fight, 40 seconds into the fight, he's gonna cast his smashing hammer or whatever. As soon as he does that, my off tank is gonna taunt him, and that way I can drop my stacks. So I should have somewhere between 4, 5, 6 stacks, depending on how many times they hit me with it. And as soon as them fall off, I'm just gonna retaunt back, and my off tanks can go back to damaging, and he'll stay over there pretty much the rest of the fight, because we should be pushing him to phase two without me getting just ginormous stacks. So it's usually somewhere around 6 to 10, and as long as I'm keeping my AMS up and my trinket up, and my healers doing good things, then we'll be fine. But he's gonna smash his hammer down, spawn Sons of Flames, and I'm gonna look to be in my spot, and I'm gonna try to put myself in a position where there's 2 to 3, maybe 4, and I can heart strike them because I want to be able to cleave 2, 3 of them. If there's 4, then I'll try to death strike one, grip it back. Whatever I gotta do to grip them up. Once that's over, then we get into our seed spot. We're all gonna stack left right here. And once the seeds spawn and we're all just gonna roar and go to the right. If we get a bad seed spot where it's real close, we'll go even further because the closer you are to these seeds when they pop, the more damage you're gonna take. For the first seed, we have our priest doing barrier. And then once the seeds pop, all our guys are going to go into their spot and spread out and do damage to their seed. And once they're done killing their seed, they kill the healer seed and then they can get back on the boss. As soon as the seeds are dead, just start position yourself for the dance. I try to get in between where the close and the middle one would be. And that way, if it spawns close, I just back up a little bit. If it spawns middle, I just go forward a little bit. But if it spawns in the back, the furthest one, I just stay where I'm at and I get ready for the next one. So we're gonna do that, just dance it out, and then we're gonna keep stacking right here because we're gonna be moving left when the seeds come out. So same thing. I'm gonna pop my vamp blood while we're moving and try to queue up a couple of death strikes so that while we're moving, I'm still healing myself. Because the healers are gonna be moving as well. They're not gonna be healing as much. And stack up. I'm gonna sit here and wait for the seeds to blow. Once they blow, um, some of the times I'll pop my rune tap so that I can heal myself plus the group. And we'll just spread out, get ready to do the dance again. And the thing about these dancing spots is they're circles. So you could be between um two of them and get hit by both of them because they overlap like a Venn diagram. So try to position yourself on those so that you are directly behind them, not in the middle of two circles. So once we push them to 40%, everybody's going to go to their spots. I'm going to be tanking both of the scions. So I'm going always to the right scion to tank him. My off tank is going to take the left one, but bring him to me. Once I taught his scion off, I'm gonna pop my IBF. I'm gonna spread my dots to them so they're doing decreased damage and just get to chopping them down with some heart strikes and rune taps and heart strikes and I'll vamp blood. I mean, I'll blow all my cooldowns right here if I need to. I'm not taking burning wounds or anything like that, so I don't need to use AMS or my resist trinket. But the DPS are gonna kill their ads, but they're gonna leave one alive far away from the hammer and get him down to like 20% so he's moving super slow. Once the scions are dead, we're gonna finish off that last flame and then we're gonna lust and we're gonna be blowing all of our cooldowns and trying to do max damage. You should have your DRW back up. So if you've been using on cooldown. So go ahead and wait for the lust, pop your DRW, put your dots on them, and just get to chopping them down because you're trying to do big damage here. So I'm going to be blowing everything. And I'm also going to be doing my ERW at this time as well. We're trying to push him to 10% so that he only spawns one meteor. But just keep dancing. Keep looking for the meteors and watch out for the smashes. And just be trying to pump as much as you can. You're still going to be getting burning wounds and stuff, so just try to keep your trinkets on cooldown and your AMS up. Um, but we're also loose spreading and make sure everybody's staying away from the meteor when it comes down. We have our holy paladin hitting the meteor every 6 seconds that he can, so that it frees up most of the people to do damage. We want as much damage as we can. There's not that much damage going out in this one, so we can single heal this phase, no problem. Once you get them to 10%, if you only have one meteor up, you're doing really good. He'll phase at 10% and stop spawning, meteors. So just try really to get to there. If you get a second meteor, you can handle it, but it's much harder. And the fight only gets easier as you get more damage, as your guys get more gear. All right, so phase 4 is about to begin. Um, don't be next to that meteor. Taunt the boss. Just start chopping him down. Hold your DRW and hold your dots for when he stands up and you're having to move. I'm just sitting here waiting for the first frost patch. Once the first frost patch comes out, um, the whole group is gonna be moving to it. So I go ahead and pop my DRW, so that it's, like a little mitigation. I'm parrying more. We go stand in the pillar of frost, and we're just chopping them down. My runner is gonna be a
Oh, the
hunter
meteor's on top of us.
in cheetah stance, and he's gonna go pick up the cloud burst and then go try to suck up all the flames. My elemental is now in charge of knocking back the meteor. I'm looking for the trap to come out so that I can pull him out of it if it spawns under him. Because if it spawns under him, you only have 3 seconds to get him out of there, or it will go off and that will be a wipe. So just try to hyper focus on that and get him out of there.
All right.
Once
Recon
the
alert.
trap comes out, my druid off tank is going to go on the other side of the trap and taunt him. And he's going to be taunted into
All right. I'm
the
tanking
trap.
again.
He's going to be stunned for 10 seconds. He's taking extra damage. So you can just go crazy at that point. Once that's over, just retaunt him and pull him back to the frost, the breath of frost. And we're just sitting here pumping away on him, trying to cycle cooldowns if we have to.
All right. Trap's coming
But
out.
our main
2
focus right
seconds.
now is the roots.
All
The
right.
roots come out. I'm trying to figure out where it's
I'm
going to
behind
be
boss.
so that I can position them correctly. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to hold them to a spot where um, my guys can still hit him, that he's out of the trap, and then will go and look to get into the next frost breath.
Okay. Taunting.
He's stunned right here, so he's just taking big damage, but I'm just not risking it. I'm gonna be standing in the frost breath and just wait. So I taunt him back, and
I'm tanking again.
we're just doing the same thing right here. My hunter's still running around sucking up flames. I'm popping my cooldowns and just trying to stay alive, waiting for the next
All right. Here
trap
comes
to
the
come
next
out.
trap.
Where's it gonna be? All right, it's under him, so I boot away
Yeah.
and
I
pull him
moved.
out
I
of it.
moved. I moved.
And when I'm doing that, I'm popping a cooldown because I'm taking extra fire damage out here. Once I see that he's far enough away, I go back to
Yeah.
the
I'm
Pillar of
taunting.
Frost and just kind of chill. Or I might come over here and make sure that my druid is taunting him and he's gonna get trapped. Uh, so just
All right.
blast
I'm re-taunting
away,
now.
pop your cooldowns, whatever you gotta do to get this guy dead. We're on a soft and rage timer because of all of these flames. So my hunter's prio right now is to try to get the flames sucked up so that they don't run into us. Because if them flames get to us while we're in this pillar of frost, we're still gonna die. One thing to know about that trap as well is only Rag can trigger it. So you can run into it and it
Wait.
won't go off.
We got
But
our
your
dudes are
off tank
paid.
needs to be far enough away on the
Oh,
other
nice.
side of the trap so that he doesn't get hit while Rag is getting kited over there. So this is a long, hard fight. I think it ended up taking us 4 weeks, 13 hours of prog, and 81 wipes. But we finally got him. It's a 4 phases, 10-minute fight when everything can kill you and one guy dying, can be a wipe. So it takes a lot of attempts. It's a lot like ICC Lich King, where it's just a long fight, a long dance. Everybody's got to be in their spots. Everybody's got to be self accountable. And you've got to be responsible to do your job. Don't worry about the guy next to you and what their job is and your healer's job. You do your job and you just focus on doing it over and over and over again until you get it down and you know what you got to do and where you got to be
Really
at
big.
all times. And then once everybody gets on that same page and everybody's doing their job and what they're supposed to be doing, you'll start progressing further and further and further. And then eventually he'll be dead. But you gotta take time in between each pull and each wipe to figure out, okay, why did we wipe? and make sure the reason that you wiped is discussed, and that way it won't happen again, or it's less likely to happen again, because we're all going to make mistakes and we're all going to slip up. But as long as you keep progressing and trying to execute your job, then you're golden. You're going to get it. Okay, bye. It's the most important
Golden
part of the
Gold.
day. Make sure we get our assignments right on our screenshot.